Oil has had humanity over a barrel ever since the Babylonians started burning the stuff in candles about 5,000 years ago. It's caused wars and environmental catastrophes. Still, it's humanity's #1 addiction. So maybe it's not oil and water that don't mix, but oil and us. Oil was mentioned as far back as the Bible, when Noah used basic petroleum or tar to waterproof the ark, which might seem backward now, but then again his boat only had 2 horsepower anyway. The first ever conflict over oil was when the Maccabees sacked a temple in Jerusalem looking for oil to burn in ritualistic practice. They didn't even pretend to be looking for WMDs. The Greeks were the first to drag oil into war, literally. The Byzantines figured out a way to fire burning oil from dragon-shaped noses on the front of their ships. Fast forward and war is oil-thirsty work. In World War I, British and Turkish troops were both after Russian oil in what's now Azerbaijan. In World War II, Germany invaded Russia to get around Allied oil blockades, aiming for the same oil fields in Azerbaijan. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in an attempt to knock America out of the war quickly, also to seize oil assets in South Asia. But humanity's addiction to oil only got really interesting when the Middle East production came online, and it quickly became apparent they had a whole lot more oil than Uncle Sam ever did, and they were rapidly running dry. Oil was, yep, you guessed it, at the heart of the Iranian coup organised by the US and Britain after Iran nationalised the British-owned Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. Twice the OPEC nations embargoed supply to the US. It caused the oil shocks that prompted Washington to draw up a plan to seize oil fields in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Abu Dhabi to counter an Arab oil embargo. The first major stoush between Gulf oil states saw Iraq invade Iran, jealous of their oil revenue. Iraq then invaded Kuwait over oil, and the US came good on their 30-year plan to take Kuwait. The US invades Iraq using the fallout of September 11 and the threat of WMDs as justification. Even today's tensions in the South China Sea between Japan and China are really more about the oil beds underneath, said to contain as much crude as Saudi Arabia. Argentina wants the Falklands back from the UK, especially since the latter started drilling for oil there. Sudan, Nigeria, Egypt, Israel, the Philippines, China, Iran and Turkey, all locked in territorial conflicts over our best friend, black gold. So, the next time you're filling up at the petrol station and trying to game the pump to get all the little zeros in a row, just think, it's not just petrol that's flowing into your tank, but thousands of years of war, greed, manipulation and addiction.